One of our penguin care experts is getting settled right here in the habitat. But we are getting started with our Penguins Live program. Now, this is a very exciting opportunity for us to introduce all of you to our incredible colony right here behind us and get to learn firsthand from one of our experts how we here at Shed take care of these guys here, there, and everywhere. So like I said, my name's Aloha. I use she, her pronouns. I am on the public engagement team here at the Aquarium. And expert in the habitat, would you like to introduce yourself to all of our incredible guests here today?
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren. I am one of the trainers who works with our penguins and otters here at the aquarium.
Awesome. So Lauren is going to be here not only to help showcase some of these incredible birds, but also if you stick around, if you have any penguin questions, we'll be able to take your questions as well. But I just want to start by letting you know this program is highly participatory. So I might be coming around some tactiles for you guys to interact with. And I might be asking you guys if you'd like to participate in raising your hand or answering some questions. Does that sound okay for everyone? All right, let's just get started with our very first question. We're taking a look into this habitat. How many different species of penguins can we spot? Show me on your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 10 species of penguins up here. I see 4 species of penguins over here. 4 species and 3 species. And 2 species over here. Well, Lauren, would you let us know how many species do we have in this habitat and how can we tell them apart?
So we have 2 species in this habitat. Whoever said that, great job. So behind me over here, we have a lot of our rock hopper penguins. These guys are a smaller size penguin and they're really easily distinguished by these yellow crest feathers that are on their head. These guys are considered a crested species of penguin. And then, kind of all gathering on this side of our exhibit, and some are hunkered in our burrows, are our Magellanic penguins, like you see right here. So Magellanic penguins are going to be a medium-sized penguin, double in size to our rock hoppers, and they're going to have this really nice banding on their chest. It's really nice seeing around their head, that different black and white coloration that changes. They're considered a banded species of penguins, and that's what you can tell these guys apart.
Wonderful. We're taking a look at this habitat not only at the penguins, but also the space that they're hanging out in. Another question for all of you. When we picture a penguin habitat in our minds, what are some things that we expect to see in places that we think penguins may live? Maybe things that we don't see in the habitat behind us at first. Anyone have anything that they expect to see when you think of a penguin habitat? What did you say over here?
A nest.
A nest? Well, that's good. We'll get to that in just a second. Ice! Yeah, I heard someone say ice. A lot of the time when we think of where penguins live, we're thinking of ice and snow. Well, Lauren, can you talk to us a little bit about why we're not seeing a bunch of ice and snow in this habitat for these penguins?
These penguins are considered a temperate species of penguins, so they're pretty comfortable at more moderate temperatures. You're not going to find these guys by the ice. So in here right now, it's about 65 degrees. It depends on the time of year. The temperature does change a little bit, and the water temperature is much colder. It's about 55 degrees. But you guys are going to find these guys in areas of South America, so not too cold for these guys. You won't find the ice. And as you can see, I'm just in a thin sweatshirt, so it's pretty comfy in here.
So, absolutely. So these guys are going in between the nice warm air we see. We also see a few more penguins in the water. I know that one thing that helps them with this is their feathers. Can you talk to us a little bit about their feathers as I come around with this tactile for all of us to engage with?
Absolutely. So you guys can see Rosie right here. She's in front of me with these nice little circles. We've got Sir Elio Porter and Loma as well. These guys are in the 55-degree water. Because I am in the 55-degree water, I need to put on a wetsuit because it's quite cold for me. But these guys are really well built for this cold water. So on their outer bodies, they have water feathers. Those feathers overlap really nicely, like shingles on a roof. They keep the water from getting to their inner layers. Inside the
talking a little bit about how these penguins use that oil to help them adapt to swimming in the water. What are some reasons that penguins might be swimming in the water? What are they looking for?
These guys are looking potentially for food. These guys are going to spend a lot of time in the water when it's not breeding season and it's not molting season. During breeding season and molting season, they're going to spend the majority of their time on land. They're really only going to go into the water for outside of those two seasons, they're actually going to spend the majority of their time in the water. They're going to be migrating to follow their niche and foraging, they'll swim in the water as well during those times. These guys are pretty buoyant, so they're really well built for those longer times of duration in the water.
So they are diving for that fish. I saw earlier, right before the program started, we had some of our other experts in the habitat with some frisbees of food. Can you talk to us about how much these guys are eating and what might be on their diet here at Shed?
How much they're eating is going to depend on the time of year. So right now, our penguins are probably eating about 15 to 20 fish a day for our Magellanics, and our rockhoppers are probably having about 10 fish a day. Right now, we're in breeding season. The penguins are spending a lot of time in their nests. They're not expending as much energy as they would be if they were swimming or if they were gearing up for molt, where they're going to regrow in their feathers. A ton of extra energy. So right now we see them about 15 to 20 fish for our max, 10 fish for our rockhoppers. And these guys are going to know what season it is based and how much when they're about to molt or breeding season based on our lakes inside here. We have lakes that lengthens the time of day or shortens it. So right now we're getting to a period of the year where we are lengthening our day length. That's letting our penguins know that it's going to go into breeding season. They're not going to be eating quite as much right now while they're getting all hungry in their nests.
I love that you mentioned nests because we had someone earlier mention nesting. How many of you guys, raise your hands if you have a type of event or behavior that you do in one season that you might not do in another season? I know I do. For me, fall is soup season. So you really won't see me drinking some hot soup in summer. For you guys, is there anything that you might do in a different season that you don't do in another one? Yeah?
In summer I sometimes eat ice cream to cool off, but in the winter I probably wouldn't be eating any ice cream.
Exactly. So we said in the summer, probably going to eat a lot more ice cream than in the winter. You were talking about nesting. Can you tell us a little bit about what this time of the year looks like for these birds and what might be some of their behavior changes with each other and with us during this time?
Yes. So right now I want to point out to you guys, these two penguins over here that are, I don't know if you guys can hear it, they were just vocalizing back and forth. So right now what we're seeing a lot of is our penguins are starting to seek out nesting areas and establish their territory. So how they're going to do that is by cutting up, finding an area, they're going to start to build in that area, and then once they build in that area, they're going to let all the other penguins know, hey, this is my space. So we just heard
We've learned a lot already about the incredible care that we can take here at Shed for these animals, but can you talk to us before we open it up to a Q&A, just a little bit about what we can do and what Shed is doing out in the wild to support populations of these birds, specifically with your work in Patagonia?
Yes, so we are very lucky. As an organization, we have started to pair with, sorry, I was very excited about my microphone. We have started to partner with some researchers out in Patagonia. There's 3 main colonies of penguins in Patagonia. One of them, the center of Patagonia, Argentina, is declining. Penguins are directly related to their fish family. So what we're trying to do is figure out what types of fish they're eating, or more importantly, what population that they normally would be. So what we're doing is we're going down to Argentina, I was there last October, and we're spending about 2 weeks collecting food. Penguins do that a lot, so it's really easy for us to collect down there. We can then bring those samples back up here to the aquarium, and we can test those samples to extract fish DNA, to see what types of fish are being living down there are eating. Now, once we see what they're eating, maybe what they're not eating, what they should be, then the researchers down there can start to work with the local government and fisheries to establish sustainable practices to make sure that there's enough fish for the penguins and enough fish for the people.
I'm really glad you brought up sustainable practices because, folks, I know our animals here get restaurant quality, sustainably sourced fish from incredible sources, but there is a way at home if you're at a grocery store or you're heading out to a restaurant to just really quickly check to make sure that your choices are as sustainable as the diets for our penguins are. This right here that I'm holding in my hand is the Marine Stewardship Council's Blue Fish Label. And it's a really easy way if you're at a grocery store and you see this blue fish to let you know that that choice that you're making, whether you're buying some fish sticks or a nice salmon for a nice meal with your family, are a really good choice that you can make. So now, folks, now that we've learned a little bit from Lauren and these penguins behind me, I would love to open up the floor to a few of your audience questions. We have time for about 3 of those questions. So if you have one, feel free to raise your hand. I'm going to come around. I already see some very excited hands. What is your name?